What's up, everybody? It's IBN Yeezus. With me is Patrick the Gator Bait. That's what I'm calling Gator Bait Patrick.
Oh, oh
Um,
God.
at some point, Marcus might join us. If
Pink eye
not,
pending.
yeah, if not, we understand. Um, so I mean, I don't. I'm still trying to recover from week one of NFL, but week two college football probably was crazier. Probably was crazier.
Yeah.
Out of all the things that happened Saturday, what was your biggest shock?
Honestly, I'd say one Notre Dame dropping one to Marshall at home, and how how good of a game Texas played against Alabama. That threw me for a loop because I think you and I both were thinking Texas. Man, Texas was about to be a martyr to the cause.
um, yeah, I guess not. I was just saying, I'm not super shocked that App State could beat A&M because A&M struggled to score. I will say that
And this isn't a
given
new thing with
yeah,
them either. This is like since last year. How they
my
hung 41 on
my
Bama is
biggest
beyond me.
my biggest shock was probably Notre Dame. I just didn't think Marshall had the class to keep up, and they did. I mean, but it's kind of wild that I found myself Saturday, actually Sunday, talking to Jerry, asking, is Jimbo on the hot seat? And I think he is. And the Aggies got a rough schedule coming up. They've got Miami this week, and I think it's Arkansas or Mississippi State. And I think it's Arkansas, Mississippi State, and then Alabama. I think it's either way.
They have
Those are the
five
next.
straight ranked games
Yeah, that's
right
going to
now.
be tough to navigate going forward. And I'll be completely honest with you. If Jimbo Fisher loses at least 3 games this year, I have no doubt that he will be relieved of his duties 100%.
Wait, like three more or two more?
Like, yeah, 2 more games. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
If
So
they
nine
if
and
they
three,
are a
Texas
three
A&M
loss
gets
if
like
they are
says.
a if they are a 3-loss team this year, he's out of there. He's out of there.
I could see. I wouldn't go that far. I could see where he parlays one more year, saying we got this number one overall class the year before. They're still
Nah,
developing, or
nah,
they force him to a higher OC.
nah. Look, I
They
get
force
it.
him to
That
get
is
out of his
that is a lot of
offense.
money, but if you think if I mean you of all people know, bro, the landscape of college football is shifting. Whether you want to believe it or not, it's shifting. And ain't nobody got time to be considered a laughing stock when you got the number one class. Like, especially with the only thing that might save him is that they're going to expand the playoffs and maybe he gets a shot because ultimately that's what they want to do. They want to get into the playoffs. I understand they just extended him, but you lost to App State. God forbid you lose to Mississippi State. And
That's
then
actually highly likely, though. I
yeah,
wouldn't.
but
I
I'm
wouldn't
just
put the.
saying, like, of the next 4 games, the only acceptable losses in that for them would probably be Bama. I don't think they will accept losing to Arkansas, even though it's more likely that they will. They damn sure ain't gonna accept losing to Miami, and they ain't gonna accept losing to the Pirate in Mississippi State. They're just not gonna accept that.
No.
I mean, I'm sorry. I think losing to App State expedites some urgency here. It's like we got this class coming in, and you already have a good class. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Because at the
Also,
end of the day, you put Jimbo next to Sumlin, and you pretty much got the same results. What are we doing? That's a
you
lot of
just took
money.
the shade and contrast off the picture. You decolorized the picture with Jimbo.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Also, mind you, an App State team that gave up 60 points the week before to a Carolina team that we all think is just cooked.
It's a QB thing, and guess what? Nobody want to hear that shit. I
Right?
don't
You
want to
got a
hear it's
number
a
one.
QB thing. What are
Ain't
you
you
doing there,
record? Ain't you
Jimbo?
recruiting
Fix
them?
it. Fix it. Like,
Ain't you
yeah,
recruiting the best ones in the land?
fix it. It's
I
I
thought
don't
about
know,
this
man.
earlier today, and I feel like you love this. Texas A&M to me is that kid, like in the black movies where you know that's always in the hood school, where the kid who's always like getting in trouble and going to the principal's office, and the principal always telling the kid, young brother, you too smart to be doing this. If you just applied yourself, you could get up out of here. You could make something of yourself. Nah, that kid don't want to apply his talents. He don't want to apply his talents. That's Texas A&M. That's Texas A&M right there. That hood kid that don't want to apply his talents.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that I don't know what else to tell people. Like,
wait, what more out of the blue? What,
I mean, I honestly, like, I'm not trying to spend a lot of time on it, but I'm serious. Like, the Aggies' money's not really an issue. I think they really care more about not embarrassing themselves on the national scene. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, they got oil money, so they're fine. They're like West PSG.
I just know people pretty upset, and let's not even bring up the fact that College Game Day left them hanging.
I was about to bring that up.
I mean, it's embarrassing.
App State stole your game at home and stole your game day.
App State beat you and then took game day from you. Like, yeah.
They said, Kirk Herbstreit, you coming with us, nickel.
That's embarrassing.
Coach, get in the car.
Bro.
Y'all coming to boom, baby.
That's embarrassing.
And App State's not even playing like a big team. They're playing Troy. They stole your game against Miami, probably the biggest matchup of the weekend, to go to App State and Troy, because App State drove 14 hours to Texas to snatch your chain. Yeah, you might. Now I think about it, yeah, you might be right. Jimbo might be fired if he messed this up a little more.
And that's something that also needs to be stated too. That all these teams that got upset literally paid these schools to come in there and beat them. That's also adding to your embarrassment. You pay App State over $1 million, I'm assuming. I think it's usually most people like 1.4, 1.5 or something like that. But anyway, you paid them. They came in. They beat you. Not only did they beat you, but then they took College Game Day from you. So it's
AKA just more money.
Stop.
Oh Lord. No.
Back from what, bro? Back from what? We're gonna get to you in a second. So
the pit of unknown.
Yeah,
Miami.
But yeah, so that's pretty much to me the biggest takeaway has to be: is Jimbo Fisher on the hot seat? Is it possible he could be on the hot seat? Ben doesn't think so. I disagree. I think that if he loses 2 of the next 4, it's gonna be pretty warm in that seat.
And this isn't a year 2 project. What, this is year 4 or 5? He's well into the project where we've seen like other people cycle through, like we've seen Dabo cycle through and break through to a national championship. We've seen Kirby break through. We've seen Day hit the ground running. We've even seen Jim Harbaugh break through and make the playoffs. So
I mean, that is true.
And Jim Harbaugh's done. I hate to agree with him on this, but he's done it with a lot less than Jimbo has right now at Texas A&M.
I mean, they're in the SEC. You can always kind of go back to that, but
you can. But
your losses can't be the App State.
But Georgia's in the SEC too. Like they're both in the like LSU did it within the SEC. Like people, you can still cycle through and get this done, especially with what you have at your disposal.
See, we got comments. I'm pretty sure Ben. Look, here we go, bro. It's $85 million. All right, $85 million to pay him to go away. Is there a price that you would not pay to not be embarrassed, Ben?
Second question to this.
Not pay.
Second question
is that is, but you could. Hey, look, give him $85 million and pay my man from US from the Roadrunners.
Oh,
like
Jeff Traylor.
Yeah, pay Jeff Traylor $5 million. I bet you get better results. You should have paid him all that money in the first place, bro.
Have we also considered Aggies? They've never been the rational sort, so they might do it. Aggies never been rational.
I'm gonna text Jerry. I'm gonna text Jerry later and see what he thinks. But I mean, what school has paid a coach $85 million to go away? Nobody has. But if there was a school that was willing to do it, it might be Texas A&M, man. I don't know, bro. I don't know what you do.
Wait, what did
I
Auburn
don't know
pay
what
to
you
get
do.
Gus out the paint? What was that?
It won't nowhere near that though.
It was only like 30, right?
Yeah, it won't nowhere near that. His contract is absolutely ridiculous. I might go through and look at it and do a write up on it or something. There's got to be some stipulation, or if anything, we're gonna find out that Jimbo has been allowing kids to do crazy things and whatnot, and that'll get them voided. They will figure out something. He's got to have a mistress somewhere, something.
Oh, they gonna plant the
to get
drugs.
him
They
to
gonna
get him
plant
out
the
the paint.
evidence.
But this week's games, I think are going to be interesting. Not necessarily.
Alan, one thing on the recap: we have an undefeated Kansas and a good, competent-looking one.
Oh my
I just
God.
had to say that because it freaked me out.
They're 2-0.
I mean,
it was a good win. It was.
Can we give him a golf clap right quick? Because
this ain't looking like the typical Kansas. So
the spirit of Aqib Talib has came back to them.
Hey, look, Ben. You know how college football go, bro. We can see a 30 for 30 on how Jimbo had a bimbo or some shit like that. Like, don't get it twisted, yo. Don't get it. Look, the man worth $85 million to get out the paint. You could pay a cool $10 million to have a story come up, man. It don't take much. Like, I wouldn't put it. This is college football. We have seen some wild things in college football. Let's not act like it's not beyond the realm of possibility. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what A&M will do. I do know that I'm fading them this week. But anyway, first game, Friday's matchup, Florida State's traveling to Louisville. The line is now up to 3. The over-under is 57. A lot of hype behind Florida State after they beat LSU. And when I say a lot of hype, I mean people are like, oh, they might be back. I'm a fan. I don't know. I was happy with the LSU game and with the result. Love the way the defense looked. Love the way Travis was playing. But me personally, I need to see more consistency. Like it's gonna take more than a game or two. Like I want to see more. We should beat Louisville. I think we should. From the 2 games I've seen in Louisville versus Syracuse and then versus UCF, they also seem to be a team that's struggling offensively, even though they've got a great dynamic quarterback in Malik. But defensively, they're okay. They've been holding some teams in drives and stuff. I think defense, once they settled down, did very well against UCF. But overall,
yeah, that was surprising.
Yeah, overall,
that was very surprising.
The offense isn't scoring enough, and I just don't. I think this is a proper line. I took Florida State when it was like 2, but the line has went up a couple points. I didn't check the over under at first because I wasn't really interested in that because I didn't think Louisville was going to score enough. But what do you think about this game?
I think you're right, especially with Florida State and the consistency. And I do have one question about them is in the LSU game didn't answer it. It left this one very open-ended. Is the D-line for the Seminoles that good, or was the O-line for LSU just that bad and Jaden Daniels had to run everywhere? So I feel like this will be a true, more of a true indicator of where their actual line play stands.
I thought personally it was just a good scheme by the defense. I thought they held their own when we didn't blitz, and then when the quarterback was trying to get loose, they held containment, which is going to be a big key here.
Yeah.
I think that there's enough talent there that we could play Louisville straight up and get the right amount of pressure, and we've got the athleticism to spy, contain, whatever. There's some flexibility with this defense that I think I saw, and will obviously be challenged because I don't know if anybody's. I mean, most of us regulars are familiar with Malik Cunningham. He can get off.
Yeah,
you mess around, he can get off. So it'll be interesting.
Like a Walmart Lamar.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the strategy was or what the strategy will be from the defensive standpoint, and what the strategy will be from the offensive standpoint for how they're going to attack Louisville.
I was impressed with Louisville last week on going down to Central Florida and pretty much just putting the clamps on that offense. especially that little zone reads like spread option that they're doing down there with White Lightning Plumlee. Granted,
Mhm.
he can't throw the ball, but running the ball, they were just devastating, and they just second half they just put the clamps on that.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure. I don't know what happened. I feel like a lot of that was UCF's fault. Like
Yeah,
they stopped their tempo, which was weird because when they
it
were
was a. To be fair, it was also part of like Gus overthinking it.
yeah, probably. I mean, is Gus really running the the offense, you think? I'm not sure. I feel like I wouldn't give him too much credit with that. What you think? Did I lose you? I might have lost him. Y'all gotta bear with Patrick. For some reason, his internet's spotty, even though we're like less than 10 miles apart. I don't understand it.
Sorry, it blacked out. I missed it.
Yeah, man, you gotta stop filming from a bunker.
Hey, I got to be ready for World War III at any time.
Oh man. All right. Georgia versus South Carolina plus 24.5 over under 53. I'm not betting against Georgia. I'm not betting against. I might not bet against Georgia all year, honestly, especially after seeing Bama in person. I'm not. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and Carolina has not looked good. Like Rattler still has. He's looked like Rattler, as we would call it. Yeah, he looks like Rattler. Cause especially, oh god, he looked every bit of like Jekyll and Hyde in that Arkansas game. Nothing was consistent. I, maybe he just hasn't fully settled in yet, or I don't know. I don't know with Spencer Rattler. Like the talent's there. I just does he not have the pieces around him? Because
Bro,
I was
it's Rattler, man. No, it's Rattler. Like,
yeah, it's
at,
true. It
at
is
what
him.
point? At what point are we gonna just admit that it's him, man? It's got
We
to be
say
him.
that
Everybody,
albino Bo
everything,
Nix.
everything that Austin Riley, everything that Lincoln Riley has touched as a quarterback has been successful, except for Spencer Rattler.
He even made Jalen Hurts.
Hurts was Hurts was pretty good. He was already
He
good when he
was
got there, but still, Hurts was
yeah.
good. Baker was fine. Kyler was fine. Rattler. I don't know. Caleb, fine. Rattler. It's him. It's him, bro. It's him.
Yeah.
But South Carolina kind of built him up as a great addition, and so here we are. Yeah, I'm not big on laying these big spreads like this, but Georgia never has any issues covering things like this, and if there's any team that they don't need motivation to beat up on, it would be a
It's
South
South
Carolina
Carolina.
team. Yeah, it would be a South Carolina team. So I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah. No,
Oh my god, who cares, bro? Who cares? He's got enough history that again the only one that's not that good is Rattler. That's all. Keep your Texas bias out of here, Ben.
Ben's having PTSD from that last year's
man,
Red River.
man.
He having PTSD. He can hear the Coach 30 voice in the back every time he watched that video.
All right, so we got our next game coming up, and if you guys are wondering what I'm doing, unfortunately, I didn't have time to type everything in, so I'm just doing that live. But here we are. Is it
Oh,
an upset alert? Is it an upset alert? I'll tell you that Action Sports is saying that a lot of money is on Nebraska to cover. Is it an upset alert, Patrick?
I'm not sure how much of an upset alert it is, but I can see Nebraska covering and giving Oklahoma a pretty much a game late. Uh, who knows? Maybe the pressure and like the toxicity that was Scott Frost and his apparently being too drunk to call recruits. Maybe that takes the pressure off them, and the brother man gets gets the big win in Nebraska for the first time ever?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like and when you bet NFL, there's or professional sports, when there's a coaching change mid-season, people get motivated, and sometimes there's an uptick, especially that first game. I don't know about college though. I don't know about college.
I can see it for Nebraska as they did it early enough, and with the idea that maybe we can put some optimism and hope and possibly salvage the season with whatever talent we have, possibly eke out 5 or 6 and see what happens, because they have the talent to win 6 games. They should win 6.
So the money line, and again, all of our lines come from mybookie.ag. They are the official gambling sponsor for IBN, mybookie.ag. If you join mybookie.ag with promo code IBSports, you get a nice little rollover as well as a deposit match. Money line's plus 275 right now in Nebraska.
Oof.
I will say, I will say
yeah, you might have to take it.
I will say that yeah, that's worth a shot. Partially because Oklahoma started out kind of slow. Nebraska, for what it's worth, showed some ability to move the ball. It's not like they're a team without talent. It just seems like Scott Frost was just incompetent.
Well, that UCF offense does not work at Nebraska. You do
I
not
don't
have a
even
bunch
think
of
it's that. He just didn't seem to understand just the fundamentals of coaching, like of organizing a game plan, clock management, executing. Like it, I don't know, man. It just seemed all bad. So I
all
think I'll take
sense
the
left him when he left Central Florida.
yeah, I'll take the 11, and I'm not gonna put them on upset alert. Like I got another game that I think is upset alert, but I wouldn't be totally shocked if for some reason this team was able to pull this off without Scott Frost. I mean, he's been a parasite on the program since he got there. So it might be it would actually be kind of comical if they did win a big game on the first
As
time that
soon as he's gone.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on. Let's see what else we got here. A game that honestly we probably wouldn't normally cover, but I have some gambling interest. Purdue is traveling to Syracuse, who quietly has been winning games, and my boy Dino gonna make me bring it back up. Dino's that guy. But
Syracuse, they
yeah,
dismantled Louisville to start the season.
yeah, they did.
That was
They had a
just an
great game against
utter
Louisville.
whooping. Utter whooping.
And Purdue, for what it's worth, should have pulled out that game against Penn State, but they didn't. But I feel like we're gonna get a pretty good game that's not gonna be nationally televised, which is unfortunate. But what would your angle be on this matchup?
I would take Syracuse at home. They've had a good string so far. Purdue, Purdue's a very good team. I like their quarterback. They have the ability to punch above their weight, but I just think on the road at Syracuse, how Dino's got this team going, and just how they were able to also just dismantle a talented quarterback with Malik Willis. Not Malik Willis, Malik Cunningham at Louisville to start the season. I think they're still riding high from that, and I will take Syracuse.
I am going to take Syracuse because I personally think Syracuse home field advantage is a little underrated at times. I think at home, even when they've had bad teams, they've given programs
Clemson.
like Clemson, yeah, a little fit. And then I think they have a pretty balanced attack. And a team like Penn State that doesn't have a great passing game was able to put up 300 yards on Purdue through the air, I believe. So I would feel like Syracuse is going to move the ball a little bit more effectively and then finish drives. So I think that's part of why. I mean, at 1.5, it's almost a little disrespectful. It's like a outright, who do you think is going to win? Give me home field advantage in Syracuse.
Yeah, also Purdue has a tendency to get too conservative when they're in plus territory on third and fourth. Like they could, when you said they could have pulled out the Penn State game, if they probably were a little more aggressive, like in plus territory, they probably can get an extra score and push that over the line. I mean, you have a top quarterback and what everyone's hyping up Aiden O'Connell. Go for it sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all about taking risks. I'm Team Dino, man. Team Dino. Yeah. Give me something, Dino. Let's go. Let's see. What's the next big game that we got on the schedule here? We're not going to even bother with Old Dominion and UVA. I'm not going to do that to you guys.
But the sickos game of the week. Auburn.
Yep. Penn State and Auburn. Penn State and Auburn. Another line that has went up as well. I mean, you're the SEC specialist here. What am I missing with Auburn? Or what is Auburn missing?
Everything. They have a coach in Brian Harsin who the upper echelons of the Auburn University want gone as bad as you think A&M want Jimbo gone. So I won't lie to you. I bet you half like the president of the university and the president of the athletic department is probably praying that Penn State wins this game so they got an extra reason to get Brian Harsin and throw him on the curb. That being said, it's Auburn, and Auburn at home have an odd way of making things weird. Granted, they don't have a quarterback, and their quarterback is worse than Sean Clifford, and that's that's a lot iffier to. That's hard to do.
But here's the thing, though, man. Like when we're talking about Auburn, like you can never count their defense out.
No. They always have dudes on that front four.
Yeah.
That front four it's always got dudes. And they have Tank Bigsby, who is just a rock solid running back.
Yeah.
And so, Penn State has, as great as their front four is, the backfield and sometimes like middle linebackers can have like tackling issues. But I think that pass defense will be locked down for somebody like TJ Finley.
The over-under at 48 seems like a good play for under. And with it being like a 3-point spread, I would maybe even consider an angle of a team side under. I would need to do a little bit more research on the defense. I know Penn State's defense is good.
Yeah.
And so if you're looking at over-under 48 spread at 3, that's going to have Auburn around 21.5, 22. And that's 3 touchdowns and a field goal. I would probably, I'm going to take that side under. I know it's a weird perspective, but I've in the past, me personally, I've found that matchups like this sometimes yield good results if you take one side under.
Also, don't expect too much points with Penn State.
No, you can never expect too much with Penn State. Let's see. I'm having technical difficulties, just janky pop-ups that I get. We've got Oregon hosting BYU. I will get that up in a second. BYU off a good win.
Beat Baylor, the Big
Against
12
Baylor,
champs.
which should be an upset. However, I don't think it's on the level that it would have been in years past because we've gotten accustomed to BYU pretty much having something to work with over there for the last couple seasons. So um, my question is, how do you as a program get hyped for Oregon? Or not get hyped for Oregon, but how do you not have like some kind of what they call a hangover from
Honestly,
a big win like that?
I think Notre Dame, I mean, not Notre Dame, I'm sorry. BYU is thinking this in the way that this is, because they're playing a pretty top end P5 schedule here.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at this is another notch in their belt if they want to be able to be considered for the playoffs, like Notre Dame, another like that top echelon of independent schools. Like when we're good, we want to be in that consideration with Notre Dame, like they are when they're good.
Mm-hmm.
And this would be a solidifying because they had Baylor, knocked them off. They have Arkansas later, and they would also have Utah on the schedule as well. So taking down Oregon in Eugene, I think that's one of their focusing points is we're really pushing the narrative that we deserve to be in the playoff after knocking off two big name P5 schools that were ranked.
How did Oregon get back in the top 25?
They beat Weber State? No, not Weber State.
Like, as bad as they got beat by Georgia, how did they sneak back in the top 25? That was my first question. Like, what?
Also, who's dumb enough to put a team with Bo Nix at quarterback in the top 25? Y'all know better. Y'all know better.
Who's doing these rankings is really what
Associated Press. Y'all know better. This is y'all's fault. You did this to them. When Oregon gets embarrassed again, you did this to them.
It's annoying. But BYU, I think that I mean, I question if they would have a hangover. I would bet that they don't. Again,
they're a very disciplined team.
Yeah, Bo Nix isn't that great, and it's no time zone switch for them, which really helps, I think. If it was like a East Coast swing, then I would probably think there might be some issues. I think they win. I think they win outright. I think they're just a better team, a better program, in a better spot right now.
No, honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think once the fourth quarter comes, it's particularly close. Whether, like, it may not be on the score sheet, but if you're just looking at it, it probably won't look particularly close.
Now, I can't go out on a limb and predict the score, but I will say I think BYU wins. I think they're the more talented team.
Oh, I can't see them. I can't predict the score on this one because, it might get weird out west. But I'm just saying, regardless of what the scoreline looks like, just watching the game, we'll just see BYU dragging them.
Yeah, that's a possibility. And Bo Nix is good for one good game a year.
That might be against an FCS team this year.
Yeah. My upset alert is here, and it's a hot upset alert because everybody's on it, so it's probably not going to hit. But Kansas is traveling to Houston. Houston is getting 9. I'm not getting 9, laying 9, and the over-under is at 57. Love the over. And then, this Kansas team has been scrappy these first 2 games, man.
And it's Houston, so it's going to overtime. So,
and I'm not a big Dana fan, so
no, I want to see him suffer.
Yes, I would love.
I want to see him suffer.
Love for them to win this game, but
trash.
The money line for Kansas right now is plus 240.
I take Kansas.
I think I'm gonna do a money line. I'm gonna do a money line parlay just for the hell of it. I'm gonna do Kansas, Nebraska, and BYU and see what I get.
I will take for this. I would take Kansas as well. They already went on the road to a hostile environment at West Virginia to a team who actually looked pretty good versus Pitt and just took their lunch money.
Yeah.
And this is like, all right. Everyone's freaking out about like, is West Virginia's 0-2? I mean, they lost the Pitt game. They were in that. Had the freak pick six at the end, but it's not a terrible West Virginia team.
No, I mean the West Virginia team's got like defensively they got some holes or whatever, but offensively,
I mean, they're in the Big 12. They're supposed to have holes. Kidding, people. I'm kidding. This is in 2016. You there? Well, Alan, did it freeze up? Yep, it froze. So yeah, Kansas versus Houston. Let's see who else we have next week. Ben, if you're still in the chat, can you let me know if you see Alan at all, or if it's completely frozen? Everybody, we are having technical difficulties like crazy. That's what happens when nickels have bad internet.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Yeah, it was when it resets, it switches it to a different audio. That switch
Oh, I
back.
hate when it does that crap.
Yeah, I was gonna say we were talking about Kansas, Houston, and then
And then the tinfoil on our electrical cords fell apart. The aluminum on the.
yo, but anyway, getting back to the next game. So talked Kansas and Houston. I put Kansas and I put Houston on an upset alert.
Yeah.
The line was at 9 plus 240 on the money line.
IBN consensus, Kansas.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are on Kansas. It's just wishful thinking, and I'm not gonna read too much into. Oh, well, the line just moved down to 8.5 now, and the money line went up to 265. So again, it's one of those things where it's getting a lot of action from everybody under the sun. I think people just want to see an upset. Let's see, Mississippi State, LSU. Mississippi State favored about 2.5, traveling to LSU. What are we looking at here? For Brian Kelly.
Oh man. The story: will the Pirate and Will Levis take over Tiger Stadium? God, I hope so. God, I hope so.
It would be comical if
It would
he
be hilarious.
if it takes him a couple games to win, or if like just how long it might take for him to win an SEC game.
And their schedule's tough. God, like I know I was scoffing earlier in preseason when I was like, everyone's saying LSU's going 6-6. What are you, crazy? Now it's not looking so crazy. And I'm thinking, oh well, you know what? Put my foot in my mouth, because I'm not high on Jaden Daniels. I'm not high on him at all. And honestly, Brian Kelly looks like he's already halfway lost the locker room. And if
Lost the locker room, lost the university.
yeah, and I don't know what's more of a damning indictment, that how you lose confidence from the whole community before your 90-day probation period was up. Like, that man got hired and fired before the drug test came back.
I just processed what you just said. I don't even know, bro. I don't even know. I just think it's comical that the accent didn't last that long.
No, and Louisiana. All right, for people who think all South is the South, no, the hell it's not. Louisiana, the South of the South of the South, and a little of its own thing. You just can't come in there with just like how you treated people at all saltine and prestigious Notre Dame. No, you can't treat the people the same. They will run you out of there, and even the media has no respect for him. With
The chick
with the
with
win a
the chick,
game.
yeah, chick told them win a game and then they show up on time. That's wild.
I mean, dang, they said we ain't doing our job until you do yours. I ain't
That
gonna
is
lie.
wild.
I ain't gonna lie. I wonder if that reporter was a nickel, because that's the most nickel
How
thing.
engaged? Now it was a white chick. How engaged is the Pirate? That's my thing.
Oh, he's super, because I'm pretty sure he despises Brian Kelly just as much as the rest of the coaches in the SEC.
Yeah, so I mean,
Nobody likes him. Nobody in the SEC likes him.
but he's a difficult person to like anyway. But it's just sometimes he goes to these spats where it's like he don't care no more. He just like what like I think Marcus described it best. He's a sore loser.
Who, Leach?
Yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, I think he has something that he can work with this year that can actually turn into, something pretty decent and make him look good. I think this is on the road. This could be something for him to dance on,
No,
or
I
say something
mean,
weird on the
if
press conference.
there is a team that is looking a little shaky, it would be LSU. After that game against Florida State, and getting that cupcake the next week, that's not going to really matter. So I am going to go ahead and all things considered, because thinking back, I'll go with Mike Leach here.
Also, what's the status of like the wide receiving core? Because what's going on with Keyshawn Boutte? What's going on with the rest of them dudes?
I don't think he's hurt. I just think he's just annoyed with his coach.
So are they just not playing? Like, what's that situation? Because I've heard nothing after they said they're taking everything off their socials, like their IGs, their Twitters. Just they got rid of the LSU stuff.
Well, I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything about like injuries or whatever. Even if there's dysfunction, it's been kept kind of quiet. So I don't know. Maybe it's just dudes just being emotional.
Also, he probably rubbed them the wrong way early too, and you know, like I said, can't talk to LSU dudes how you talk to Notre Dame dudes.
That's true. That is
Louisiana Nickels, completely built different. There ain't no other nickel like a Louisiana nickel. You mess with that, I just don't know what happened. I don't know what to tell you. You just dumb if you mess with them folks.
Should this game be on upset alert? Texas Tech versus NC State.
Does a dog bark? Yes.
NC State just they're laying 10.5. Who they play? Again, they play ECU first, right?
But that's a rivalry game, so
but is ECU not better than Texas Tech?
They're not, but at the same time, ECU. Anytime NC State has expectations, ECU's favorite thing to do is just punch them in the throat and ruin their life. Like, ECU lives for nothing more than to ruin NC State's day. Like, ECU could go 1-11. They beat NC State. Well, you know what? It was a good year.
I don't know, man.
Also, it's NC State with expectations. I'm holding my breath. Like, they have a very talented team. They have a great quarterback. I love what their coach is doing. But, you know, them and expectations, I'm just waiting for it to fall through the floor one time.
Let's see. 13-point favorite against ECU, didn't cover. We're not going to count the 45-point favorite. But, I mean, you got 13 against ECU. Like, you laid 13 and you didn't cover. I'm willing to at least consider Texas Tech covering here. But I mean, Texas Tech ain't really nothing to write home about either.
Well, they beat Houston in overtime.
I just think like NC State's, I think their defense isn't as good as people want it to be or claim it to be. And I'm getting a lot of points I'm getting 2 scores with an offense that I think I can depend on.
Yeah, Devin Leary, you got him. You can always work something out. And he's one that he's not going to turn the ball over. He pushes the ball down the field real well. Great deep passer. You know, makes smart decisions. Yeah. Like I said, I'm just always gambling. I could never go on NC State because I'm just always waiting for them, the thing to fall at the bottom. That's one of them.
And look, it's plus 320 on the outright win. I'm not going to give Texas Tech an outright win, but definitely could see a little backdoor cover action here. It just depends on if they're awake or not, because they stormed the field last week.
Oh. Never mind. NC State by 20.
What was your take on that?
Y'all some losers. Y'all beat a G5 team and y'all out here storming the field and y'all in the Big 12. Grow up. Grow up.
That was pretty pathetic.
Like, what? Yo, act like y'all been somewhere before. Never gave y'all money. Swear to God.
That was pretty embarrassing. I didn't even know what to make of that.
Whole state of Texas just took an L just for that right there. Regardless of what A&M and Texas did and Baylor, nope, whole state took an L just for that. Y'all out
So
here storming the field on a G5 team.
this is a game that I think should get a little bit more attention from fans and gamblers, just out of curiosity, because nobody really was
And it
talking
is the
about
ABC
Washington.
primetime game, if
Yeah,
I am
no,
not.
nobody was really talking about Washington in the Pac-12. It just seemed like an automatic that it was USC, and so Washington could be something of a player if they're able to overcome this first hurdle in Michigan State.
And yeah, I like what Michael Penix Jr. is doing. He's got some actual talent around him. He's actually flourishing at a place that's not Indiana. Shocking. Also, I don't have Michigan State as that good this year. They lost a lot of guys. I know Mel Tucker. He's a good coach, but I don't know. I just think they lost so much talent and having to travel cross country. I could see Washington pulling this one out.
Yeah, I mean it's not that cross country. I think they in the East Coast time zone. Are they
Michigan?
Yeah, Michigan. No, that's Midwest. So it's not
No,
that far.
Michigan's
Yeah.
on.
No,
No,
that's
Michigan's
not.
on the East.
That's East.
Yeah, the time
You
zone's in
sure?
Indiana. Yeah, because the time zone's like right next to Chicago.
Man, I guess.
I mean, also Washington when that crowd when that
Hey, look, y'all can
they get pretty
make fun of me
ruckus.
for that if you want. I just thought it was Midwest time. I ain't gonna lie. I just always assumed it was Midwest time. But never. All right, well, yeah, that's gonna suck. So
Yeah, no, you got what that 3 hour time change. A Washington crowd that actually gets pretty rowdy.
oh snap.
It's
Would I take North Texas money line over UNLV? You know, I like you, random person, because those are games that people do not bet on. Uh,
that's what we call sickos.
nah, man, heck nah. Those be the DJ specials. Let me check. Let me check. I'm gonna check the line right now. I didn't put that on my list of games, so let me find the line first. Let's see. Because North Texas is near and dear to me, man. They just can't. Just they just can't show up. Like both units never show up at the same time. You either get a really good offensive game and no defense, or you get a really good defensive game and no offense. So it's just frustrating. But if this game is in North Texas, I need to see the line.
No,
Yeah. Oh, it's in
it's in.
UNLV. And it's
Yeah, I
at
was about to
3
say.
o'clock.
So far, it's UNLV negative
Yes, it's 3.
2.5.
Let me
Oh, it's up to
see.
3 now. Okay.
Yeah, it's up to 3. UNLV isn't that formidable.
No, also, North Texas does have 2 wins so far, and a decent one versus UTEP on the road.
Damn, North Texas lost to SMU like that.
I mean,
That's
SMU
wild.
always beats the draws off them.
Yeah.
SMU's been beating the black off them for the last 6 years.
Get out of here.
Granted, North Texas is going in the right direction.
See, that's the problem though. I'm gonna go ahead and say that I would do a thorough check of who's got the veteran leadership here, like who's got the most upperclassmen, because North Texas defense is trash, but UNLV's offense isn't all that great either. I will say though that the one thing that stands out to me is UNLV can move the ball, and North Texas defense isn't good at stopping or slowing anybody down. The offense against UNLV's defense seems almost like a wash too. I would err on the side of caution here, Don Play, and I'm gonna lay the 2.5 with the home team. It just like for me personally, if I'm taking a road dog, I gotta see you be able to come up with stops, and that's pretty much what it boils down to. Because UNLV, most home teams in college football get a boost anyway, because they're extra motivated to show out at home. So if you got a defense that's not known to really get stops and it's under a field goal, you just better off just laying the points. I mean, even if you want to take out the spread, just take it money line with UNLV. But I'm gonna lean UNLV.
I'd go the other way. North Texas, their quarterback's doing pretty well. He's thrown 7 touchdowns. He takes care of the ball pretty good. He's a junior,
Mhm.
and the games that they have won, they've actually gotten the stops. Like,
All right. Well, they ain't getting no stops against SMU.
I mean, SMU's just also a lot more talented than they are too.
All right, so we got a split down play. I was airing with UNLV. He's got North Texas. So sorry we couldn't give you a consensus there, but just look at it a little bit deeper. Definitely check those defensive stats and go from there. Okay. So what I'm looking at here for our marquee game should have been Washington versus Michigan State, but we've got a marquee game here that could be the beginning of the end for our boy Jimbo. Just playing.
That's
Miami
not
Hurricane,
having college game day.
Miami Hurricanes are
That's
traveling to A&M, and the spread is now up to 6. Why bother with an over under? Why would you ever bet an over on an A&M game when they have been so poor on offense? But Miami at A&M.
I'll say this. We know nothing about Miami because who have they played? They struggled against Southern Miss for a whole half. They beat the doors off Bethune Cookman. That doesn't tell you anything. That tells me nothing. I have no idea what Miami looks like.
I was under the same, like that was my impression too. Like
I don't know what Miami
how do
is.
I assess this team? Like how do I assess this team? Not even from a gambling standpoint, from a fan standpoint. Like
Yeah,
yeah, they beat the teams they're
you
supposed to beat, but like this is a huge step up. Like
yeah, didn't Southern Miss have like one win or like go winless like last a year before? Like they're down in the dumps as a program. So sorry, you beating them and struggling with them. I don't know what y'all were doing. That doesn't tell me anything. Like
yeah, so I'm not sure what to expect. I will say this, gambling wise is like a team that's talented. Now, how talented is A&M? We don't know, but they do have talent. When you look at football, teams who suck one week, but they still are very talented, usually bounce back the next week, especially if it's a home game.
yeah,
Now, they could very well be deflated. They could have very well overlooked Appalachian State because, I mean, technically that is a prime look ahead spot. You got App State with Miami, and then that row of games. Like it's Miami, Mississippi State, Bama. Who's the other? Arkansas. Like you got a row of games coming up. And you got App State before that. So it was a prime spot for an upset, you know. And like you said, Max Johnson, he got sacked a lot last season. LSU Aggie line is worse than LSU was last season. Good info right there, Ben.
that is true.
I'm willing. I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared to lay it, but I'm also saying like again, I think the sharp angle would be to lay it there.
The one counter argument I have to that is when it comes to looking at who's the quarterback, you got to take Miami with Van Dyke. Like even last year, he was the more capable. He's got a great arm. He takes care of the football. He can move the ball downfield. And I don't know anyone on there who can. Also, do they have any standout receivers, A&M?
They don't have any standout offense.
Yeah, like there's no one for even a quarterback to really pass it to. So, also, please, Miami fans, don't jump off the roof of your building if y'all win, because we ain't got no love for A&M. A&M ain't that good.
So it's and my boy Don Play asked if we have any locks. So Don, Patrick don't really gamble. Uh, the first lock I had was I thought Florida State was a lock at 2.5, and I still like it. Florida State's defense should carry the Seminoles a little. Offensively, Florida State's run offense versus Louisville's run defense still favors Florida State. I thought that was a lot. I like Mississippi State. I think Texas Tech is getting a lot of points against NC State. I like that. I like BYU in an upset also with the points there. I like Northern Illinois. I like Penn State to hold Auburn to under 3 scores. And then I'm leaning Syracuse versus Purdue. But if I had to pick one actual lock, I usually hate to take my team, but like I just don't see any other scenario where that wouldn't be my personal lock for the week. So take that for what you want. Definitely would consider taking the points with Texas Tech. The over in Houston, Kansas at 57 is probably a good play too, as well. So just put that out there. Anyway, so back to this game. Yeah. What are we doing, bro? What are we doing? I don't know what to say. I don't know. I don't know what Miami's gonna show up.
I got Miami to cover.
You think Miami covers?
Yeah, I think Miami covers. Honestly, I think this is a one-score game.
I mean,
like a field goal.
God, A&M has made with their offense, man. It's hard to back a team that can't score.
Oh, also back on mine for a lock. I have South Alabama to cover at UCLA.
Well, that's unexpected.
I mean,
how many
South Alabama.
How many points is that?
It's only a 15 point. 15
Bro,
and a half.
How long is Chip going to do this? Come on, Chip.
The quarterback at South Alabama, he's balling right now. And UCLA is always down to like screw something up.
They've literally played nobody.
Who, literally. UCLA or South Alabama?
No, Miami.
Yeah, they played like, you know, the sorrier version of FAMU.
And I get Ben's Ben's angle is actually really good too. Like the idea that this guy got sacked a lot, the O-line's not that good.
Oh no, App State got on that line. App State was pushing them around.
Also, I mean, me and Jeff had talked about this too. I also don't like Cristobal as a coach in a big game.
No,
Miami's wide receivers out for this game with the foot injury too.
Oh God, this is just,
6 is still a lot.
This is like predicting a freaking hurricane right here.
Yeah, 6 is no pun intended. 6 is a lot. I'm gonna make that a game time decision.
Yeah, because Cristobal,
bro, Don Play.
He's so conservative.
I'm gonna have to tell you, bro. You gotta figure that out on your own. I'm not trying to spend your money. I do 14 parlays from time to time. Round robins. My strategy is to take the 12 o'clock game I like the most, the 3 o'clock game I like the most, the 7 or 8 o'clock game I like the most, and then hopefully have something around like 9 or 10 that I like. So I basically go all the way across. I do East Coast, Midwest, West Coast, and then double back on some Mountain West, basically, because Mountain West is usually the only thing up that late at the 10 or Pac-12. But I try to build a parlay in that fashion. If you're doing parlay, I would say take two games that you're getting points that you really like. Take a game with a low favorite that you really like, and then an over under that you really like. So, for if I was building a parlay off the top of my head right now, I would take FSU spread. I would take Kansas Houston over. I would take BYU points, and then I would do Auburn side under whatever, because that, like, those are games that I'm kind of confident in. Those would be my four that I would do. But it's hard to build those. I don't know how those people do those fucking 15 game parlays and stuff like that. But if you're doing anything over 4, I mean, it's just luck anyway. So just go with your gut. I wouldn't overthink it. But if you're doing a 4 team, I would mix and match over unders and spreads. I wouldn't do 4 overs, 4 unders, or anything like that. I would spread it out a little. But yeah, that would be my strategy. If I'm doing a favorite, I'm doing a favorite that's got a low spread. If I'm doing a dog, I'm taking as many points as I can get. All right. So matchup wise, I think Penn State's defense versus Auburn's offense is probably the best matchup of Saturday. So like I said, that's why I would throw that Auburn in there. So we're undecided on this. Let's just go ahead and just pick. I'm gonna go Aggies. I don't trust Cristobal. That's all to it. I don't trust Cristobal.
Yeah, he crapped the bed twice versus Utah last year, and the bowl game tends to get lemon booty when it comes to making big decisions and gutsy plays. Aggies might be pissed off because they got embarrassed on live TV and got game day and they chain snatched from them. Yeah, I'll take the Aggies in a one-score game as well. Now I think about it.
Yeah.
I got one more that I want to talk about that I feel like will be interesting.
Good.
UTSA Roadrunners versus the Texas Longhorns.
Oh yeah.
Spreads. The spreads. It's a 12.5 favorites to Texas, and they got a 59.5 over under. Texas, emotional, very physical game last week. Man, Quinn Ewers is down. And what's he out for? What, 5-6 weeks?
4 to 6.
Oh, okay. All right, so he's out for most of the year. And what was it? Hudson Card is the backup. He's decent, but he's not.
No sense in spending money on.
But he's
and they don't want to be there, or they're not interested.
What about Hudson Card?
Sorry, I heard somebody's mother.
It's not. It's my mother-in-law in the background. It's fine.
Oh
Go
Lord.
Ahead. Yeah.
Hudson Card, decent quarterback, but he's not going to light it up. And I just love UTSA's offense with Jeff Traylor.
Texas is 2-0 versus the spread.
Oh my! Ben, show some respect to y'all's future coach.
I mean,
that's y'all's future coach in waiting. Stop! Don't disrespect that man.
Well, having seen Texas, obviously, last week, great game, great cover. Big.
They kind of got robbed.
Yeah,
they got robbed. That was a safety, people.
However, that was an emotionally draining game. That was an emotionally draining game. That would probably it'll be hard to duplicate. So it probably is their Super Bowl. But my angle for games like this sometimes is to take the first half dog, because teams typically come out flat in these scenarios where they've had that big game the week before. And then they pick it up in the second half. I think UTSA is going to move the ball on them. I think it's a tough defense offense to prep for. Obviously the talent disparity between between the two teams is in favor of Texas. And
Quarterback might be
I
even
mean,
now.
I hear you, Ben. I'm just saying and I hear that too. They don't need to run the ball. That's not what they do. So,
They aired that thing out.
I mean, it's nice for them to have that. Last year's running back was a blessing for them, but trust me, like if they can't run the ball, that's not going to change anything for them. They're not built on running the ball anyway. It's just like bonus if they can. But I like to take these teams typically, like I said, in these scenarios. I like to take them first half to cover or even first half money line, just something to sneak in. And then that way I ain't got to stress about the inevitable second half surge. I didn't want to put them on upset alert because I just think that's just a reach. I think Texas is talented enough. They should still win.
They should
That's
still
the
win.
only weapon
I can
you
see
need in college football, bro. If you got a QB, depending on how good the QB is. The QB is the most important position. If your only weapon is QB, hey, a lot of teams' only weapons have been QB, and they've been able to raise their level of play and the guys around them level of play.
Right? Have y'all not seen 2010 Auburn? Cam Newton wants
Yeah.
a word.
Just saying.
I can see UTSA covering. They're making it close, giving Texas a scare. Like you said, Texas comes out flat first half. And maybe makes a couple of mental errors. And
Absolutely ton of money is on UTSA to cover. 86% to be exact.
Oh no, yeah, they covering. Yeah, no, I can see Texas just come out making a whole bunch of mistakes. Like you said, emotional hangover, few interceptions. UTSA, gets a few points off that. Then you're probably looking at one score game by the fourth. Maybe Texas closes out with like a field goal at the end, 10-point game, 10-point win. And boom, UTSA covered.
Yeah. Disagree, bro. Maction all day, every day. Never fade Mac. Never fade Mac. No, I'm just playing. Vandy's all right. But I like that Northern Illinois team is good, man. They don't get a lot of love because a lot of people don't know about Rocky Lombardi and the coach and stuff like that. But I'm a believer in that team. I think they win the MAC this year. I actually picked them to win the MAC. So
Rocky Lombardi with the Michigan State transfer. Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm thinking of the right guy. That's right. The Michigan State transfer who still beat that ranked Michigan team.
So we are at the end of our show. Thank you, Don Play, for joining us. Although I'm sure that's one of our many troll account people. Good luck with your 14 parlay, bro. I'm not a hater on people making money, man. I love it. I just wish I could do those 15 team parlays, and I just can't. I just always get unlucky. But
it's secretly Jeff Rushing.
I know, right? It probably is. Yeah, good
Jeff,
luck
we know
to
it's you.
Good luck to you, bro. Like I said, I think for me, Florida State was my best play. I will say that when I bet college football, I usually bet like 9 or 10 games, and not usually around 60% at worst most of the time. College sports isn't as hard as NFL. They don't cap it as tight, and there's always kind of goofy stuff going on, and it's easy to live bet as well. So anything you lay a lot on, make sure you hedge as always. Ben, thank you for joining us. Gotta give a shout out to Ben in Texas. Good atmospheres. Awesome. I love Austin. I'm actually planning to go to a game again next year, even if Ben doesn't go. I'm just gonna fucking go by myself if I have to, because I really liked it. But I have yet to see Texas win a football game, and that might be a problem. So next year when they play Rice. Right. Yeah, when they play Rice, I will go to Rice. It's funny.
Wait, what's their schedule next year? Hold on.
I don't know. But I might be a Texas jinx. They have not won a game that I've attended yet. So I am 2-0 versus Texas. They did cover the spread though, and I didn't have them covering the spread. Actually I had them covering before the game. When I went live, I said 22 was too much. but at 14.5, I definitely had them. Yes, you guys are going to Tuscaloosa. I'm not gonna make Tuscaloosa, bro. I already told you. Unfortunately, I can't. But I don't think Bama needs my help next year in Tuscaloosa for sure. But Quinn was nice, bro. Quinn was nice. I can't say enough about Quinn, and his ability. Like what I saw, the little bit that I saw was enough for me to be like, yo, this dude is legit. So as long as he can stay healthy, which is everybody's thing, as long as he can stay healthy. I mean, the upside for Texas is high as hell. And then they got Archie coming in after him, and so
Archer.
it should only get better. Shout out to Sarkisian, made some great calls, great adjustments. Had Bama on the ropes, man. Like for real, it just didn't look good for Bama. And even with Card in as a backup, they still stayed competitive and still almost won the game. Called a great play before half with Card. The guy just missed the field goal, which was close as an extra point. But overall, Texas as a whole looked much more efficient, much more prepared, and better. And in this particular game, not a better program, obviously, but they're moving in the right direction, which is something that their fans want to see, something that I personally want to see. I don't like hating on bad teams, but again, Texas is 0-2 in games that I attend, and I will make sure I'm going. Matter of fact, next year, I'm going to Kansas and Texas. Gonna keep it going. Ben, you gonna come with me to Kansas and Texas?
Oh,
Should that be in Texas next year?
yeah, it is. I'm looking at the schedule now. They got Kansas State and Kansas at home.
What week do they have Kansas? What's the date on that?
I don't think it's confirmed yet.
Okay, all right. Well, I will be in attendance for Texas versus Kansas. Ben, you gotta go, bro. You gotta go. We gotta see if my jinx is real. If I'm there and Kansas beats Texas, no, you're not playing in the SEC next year. They don't want you guys this early, man. Stop it. But if it is the SEC, then I'll figure out a game to go to. Then we'll discuss this later, Ben. Anyway,
Texas versus Florida to start the SEC.
I actually wanted to attend Florida versus Florida State. I'll be in Georgia. It's only about a 4.5 hour drive, I think, from where I'm staying at in Georgia. I thought about it. I'll let you know if I do end up going there, but
I know I'm going to Florida LSU at Florida this year, and I just want to see Brian Kelly cry on the sidelines. I can't wait. I can't wait.
I am excited as well because I absolutely can't stand Brian Kelly. I can't. But Patrick, we're getting together at Kickbacks on Saturday. Anybody listening besides Ben and Don, if you're in the Richmond area, come through the Kickbacks on West Broad. We will be there for the evening games. I'll text you, but I should be there around like 6:30 at the latest.
Yeah, same.
All
Also,
right.
Marcus, if you come through, don't lock your mama out the house no more.
All right, bro. Take care.
All right, later.